She's warm. She's warm.
Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie.
And we've got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, my favorite bourbon, typically of the entire year. I celebrate every release. And this is one of those weird times when Oregon was not the first one to get Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Usually it seems like we get it really early on. Luckily, a couple supporters of the channel came to the rescue. Daryl Hudson, Eric Gunderson, thank you so much. We are excited to try ECBP Elijah Craig Barrel Proof batch C923. And what we know about this batch is that it's aged 13 years, 7 months. It's 123 proof, and it's made by Heaven Hill.
You know what else we know?
What's that?
Like all the ones before, it is so beautiful to look at. The color is just stunning.
You might be wondering, why are there two glasses on the table? The reason for that is, even though there's 3 batches released every year, B523 was one of the few batches that I thought was a bit of a step back. It really didn't hit my palate at all, whereas the A123 we both thought was fantastic. And so we've been hearing that C923 is amazing, that it's going to blow our minds, and that it might be the whiskey of the year for a lot of people out there. Well, if that's the case, it's going to have to knock out A123 first. And so without any other purpose other than it's a good excuse to drink Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and I'm always up for that, we're going to start by just sipping on the C923, and then we'll go to the A123 to see how it differs.
She's a beaut.
It smells amazing.
Yeah, it does. Cherry, oak, caramel.
Big vanilla presence, too.
Yeah, vanilla. It smells like an ECBP.
Let's give this one a taste.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, it tastes beautiful.
She's warm. She's warm.
You got a little heat on it?
Woo! I got my eyes watering on that one.
It does have a heat to it, but wow, good flavor. There's a little perfume there. A little, not really, maybe it's floral. I have a hard time picking the two apart because I don't really care for either one of those.
Oh, right.
So it's not my favorite note right off the bat. But there's a ton of other goodness there. There's all the things that I like, the things that make Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
I'm definitely going to need to get a couple more sips in this one. That first initial sip was very warm for me, and so it kind of made me forget about all the flavor notes. It's just a maniac.
That racket you hear is Mavis the cat.
It's really warm for me.
Do you want a little water?
Maybe.
One thing that we both realized with A123 batch is that we preferred it with a couple of drops of water in it, and I think we'll probably wind up drinking both of these that way tonight.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep going neat on this one just to see if I get some more tasting notes, and you do whatever you're going to do over there. I know this heat is really getting to you tonight.
Yeah, those first couple sips, they really got on top of me, but now I'm getting some really nice dark cherry notes. That oak is present. I really like the vanilla notes on this. It's more of what I remember without the distraction of the heat. I don't know what was happening.
Well, and one thing that is missing, I think, from this one is that milk chocolate covered peanut. That nuttiness is not on here at all. There is some milk chocolate, but I'm not getting that peanut.
I forget that you always say there's that generic chocolate, and as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how we kind of differentiate that this is an ECBP. And you're right, I'm not getting it on this one.
It is very interesting, and the oak is, you said present, and it is absolutely. It's. I think it's in your face a little bit, but in a really good way. I like an oaky whiskey. I like a sweet oaky whiskey. This one's hitting my palate a lot. So I'm gonna cleanse the palate. We'll move on to A123.
Almost basically drank all of mine already because
These were big pours too tonight.
I know, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get anything. Right out of the gate, I actually kind of like the C923 better, even though it took me a few sips to get into it.
I actually am on the same page as
Yeah.
you, and I really liked the A123 batch. I think that it's a touch astringent, and again, we like that one with a little bit of water, so I'm not super surprised.
Right.
But the C923 has a rounder mouthfeel.
Yes.
It has a more cohesive flavor overall. And the A123 doesn't present a lot of that nuttiness or even a ton of milk chocolate either, but 923 strikes me as being a more complete bourbon. It almost seems crazy to say that because I liked the A123 so much.
There's a lot of cherries on A123. I do get some of that raisiny note that you always call out with ECBPs.
I think these could appeal to two different types of bourbon drinkers. I really feel like the A123 is some straight ahead flavor. You're not going to miss a thing. If you prefer a stronger whiskey, it's going to hit your palate stronger. C923, on the other hand, is, I don't want to say elevated because I don't think that that's the right way to put it, but I think it's super cohesive to the point of maybe it's a little more difficult to pick things out, but it's a really enjoyable, well-rounded, super balanced sip. We've gone back and forth a little bit here. Do you have one of these that you would absolutely choose above the other one?
So I do think they're a little bit different. I like the flavors that I get out of the A123. I like that cherry note, the more pronounced flavors. It's a little bit easier to drink, but the thing that it has is the nuttiness that I could just, on most any bourbon, could just get rid of. And glass number 2 doesn't have that. But I will say, I think I like C923, but I'm not 100% sure if I would ever drink it. It is so warm for my palate.
A little too powerful
Yeah.
on the heat. Okay, so let's do this. Hey, cat. The cat off the top of the fridge. Good job, kid.
Nice.
I'm going to put a couple of drops of water in each one of these.
Yes.
You are running low
I know,
on C923.
it's terrible.
Do you want a little more before we do this, or do you just want to share mine?
Maybe I should just share yours.
Okay.
I don't know if we need any more C923 quite yet.
Sharing is caring here at the Bourbon Van.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 2 drops in each one of these because they have now probably about maybe a half to 3/4 of an inch, so they don't need that much water.
And maybe let's share both of them because then we're drinking, obviously, the same exact sip.
Absolutely.
And not because I drink a lot faster than Phil.
All right, A123 is on your side. C923 is on my side. Very scientific here at the Bourbon Van. If you're wondering, this is about as scientific as we get.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we each take a sip of ours, then we'll trade.
Okay, and I like adding water to things. I know sometimes it can be a controversial thing, but I do think it cuts, especially in this, I feel like it's going to cut the heat that I'm feeling and let me experience those flavors. See, I like this better already, and you would know more than me, but did I like adding water to A123 originally?
Absolutely, you liked it way better. Yeah, we both did.
Yeah.
All right. Let's cleanse palates, and we're going to switch now. You'll have the C923, I'll have the A123.
Well, what did you think about this with the water?
I actually really liked it. It still brings a ton of flavor. I didn't get anything more out of it the way I do from an A123 historically.
Gotcha.
So I do think that is just like a solid, stalwart, going to need more than a couple of drops of water to change that one.
Yeah, and it probably is going to mean something a little bit more for me than for you, because you liked it fine, just neat.
I did, yeah, that's the thing. I think that's a tremendous glass of whiskey. Neat. There's not a lot of applications for it. I don't drink whiskey that strong all that often, but I sure like it when I do drink it.
It is one of your faves.
Now that we've added water to the A123, the nuttiness jumps out of the glass on the nose. Yeah, it makes a huge impact on the A123.
I actually think it makes a huge impact on this one too.
Do you really? You like it a lot better?
Yeah, the heat got cut. I mean, I was actually having trouble drinking this. Like, my eyes were watering.
And you're really good at drinking.
I'm really good at drinking. And my eyes were watering and I couldn't come up with any flavors. It was so distracting to me. Like, I immediately said, like, I would never buy this because it's so warm. Adding the couple drops of water actually cut, I don't know, most of that heat. I mean, obviously I'm a few sips in now, so that helps too. But I actually think it brings some of the flavors to the top.
As much as I think that the A123 does benefit from some water, it makes it a little more palatable, it also at the same time kind of destabilizes that balance a little bit. I think the C923 is better before water and with water in this instance, which is crazy to me because that means that I think the C923 batch is the best of this year.
Yeah, and I want to point out that I still have not a Kentucky Hug, but a Kentucky Burn. It is so warm to me.
That's a Kentucky Bear Hug.
Yeah, I got a Kentucky Bear Hug for sure.
These two are well over 120 proof here, and that's, you're getting your bang for your buck, certainly with this product, especially because in our neck of the woods, it's still $75. I still think it's one of the best values in whiskey, and you could water this way down and still enjoy it, I think, or put it over ice, or use it however you like. I just think that this is a tremendous glass of whiskey. It's still one of my all-time favorites, and the C923, unsurprisingly, after what I've heard about it, but still surprisingly, with the age statement and everything else, I honestly thought that maybe this would be a little old, little bitter. Didn't know if it was going to hit my palate perfectly. C923 is amazing. I love it.
And even though I haven't given it, glowing marks, I'm not a huge ECBP fan. I can totally appreciate it. I love the flavors. I love every iteration that we have on the shelf. It's not something I drink ever, unless we're doing kind of like a video to review it. But Phil likes to drink it all the time. So you should listen to what he has to say, not what I have to say.
I like to sneak a glass on a Friday or
Yeah.
Saturday night. Absolutely, I do. And I still, to this day, think it's a great value, a great whiskey.
Yeah.
And I like it very much. For those of you that have had the C923 or have had all three of these batches this year, what do you think of C923? What's your favorite batch of the year? And from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. That was fun.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure.